Well, welcome back to the channel there, Papa's Posse. Once again, it's time for Papa's Comic Books, coffee, and more. Okay, before we begin, don't forget about that QR code right there. It'll take you to my YouTube, my eBay, and my Instagram page. All the social media you'll ever need. Let's see who we have today. Oh, here's a different one. This is called Spanner's Galaxy. The name of the story is Castling. Number 1, 75 cents back in 1984. It's by Niccolo Cutie and Tom Mandrake. Now, don't forget, before we begin, this book and others are available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Also, please leave a like down below. Please hit that subscribe button down below and leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought about this book. Alrighty, let's get to it and see what we can find out about Spanner's Galaxy. I think it might be a long read. Initial date 2808. Case number S37701. Subject Spanner Polaris. Spanner, please relate your version of the chase. You may begin anywhere. I am 10A. You may call me Tenna. 10A, Tenna. Who am I talking to? What's your name? I'm Tenna. It might make you more comfortable. I am attached to your subconscious as well as your conscious mind. You cannot lie to me. Therefore, there is no reason for coercion. Please proceed. What about the others? I will call on them when it is necessary. But the subject of a chase gives his version first. Again, please proceed. The chase, well, Tenna, I can't rightly say exactly where it began, and I wouldn't want to lie. You cannot lie to me. Oh, sure, I forgot. The sequence flashing through your mind is this where you begin your narration? No, not really. I was just thinking about the Shek. Here was the first time I used it in combat. You'll see in a second. Boom. Funny thing about the Shek, the first time I ever saw it was also the first time I met Andromeda and Bacca. Begin with the story of Shek. You want me to go to the far back? It was only a boy, maybe 11 or 12. My dad had promised to make me with him to Festa. Take me with him to Festa. Yeah, Festi. For weeks, it was all I could talk or think about. Spanner's Galaxy. Festia Vega was a bazaar in the bazaar, a confused mingle of worlds from havens to the dreggers, where the only common language was barter and the chance to profit made the mix of alien odors nearly tolerable. But to the farm boy on his first trip of another world, Tenna, even the vendors caterwauling and the squirming pink things and the oozy greenish pablum in their baskets had kind of an exotic glamour. In a minute, Polaris, after I check on this rug for your mother, I'll give you 30 wallens for your rug. Do you understand? Dad, can I have Droog for a honey pie? Kapuk Randayan. You better get your pie, son. This might take some time. Thanks, Dad. It didn't take me long to find a pie man, and looking back, it's a Droog, lots of precious metals, and it easily worth one of your pies. Droog, yes, one pie I give. I figure if it wasn't for that pie and a hungry little waif, things probably would have been a whole lot different. Hey, watch out. Spanner, the girl, was Andromeda Jones. Come back here, you Bandarian mud sucker. She sure knows these streets and she can climb like a monkey. But it looks like her dead reckoning finally failed her. Part of the building collapsed. When Dad and I passed by here, the way out of the alley is blocked. Okay. Take the pie, but please don't hurt me. I was just hungry. Castling. Well, I'm hungry too, but I suppose I could spare a piece, half the pie, but that's all. Sure, that's all I want. Half an hour later, Andromeda Jones had another thorough all the money he could borrow, had gone through all the money he could borrow from my dad and 2 months' worth of my allowance. She did manage to tell me her name between mouthfuls of logurums or plums. You ever been to a farm, Andromeda? My dad runs a jelly farm on Spanner's World. Of proxy, you ever see a jelly? Maybe your folks would let you visit our farm. Gee, that's rough. Hey, Looney, that crowd, maybe it's a puppet show. Gulp. Let's go see. By grub, that voice, it sounds like like my dad, and he's shouting. I don't want any trouble from you. I know this is a Carborian check, but I paid the vendor an honest price, and I intend to keep it, unless you're willing to accept my terms. Pay me for the check and let me keep the power gem, and need the gem to run the machineries on my farm, deal? The big fellow in the Carborian who'll be doing the talking in a moment is Laratek. I don't know who the other one is, maybe Sandok. Check belongs to the comrade who was killed in combat. A warrior's possessions must be buried with him, undefaced. I sympathize with you, but the power is far too valuable to waste. It's my terms or... Whoa, not so fast. Boom. Whap. Oh. My dad was an ex-ranger, and he had kept himself in good shape on the farm, but Laderick warned the unicorn the bridge of combat master. Let me through. Get away. That's my dad. You can't help him, but I know who can. Wait here, and I'll get him. Dad was able to put Sandok in the dust with ease. He was just a Jeter Sandok and raw recruit, and more of a liability to Laradik than help. But when I saw Laradik raise his check, my voice stuck in my throat like a piece of dried sorghum. Thwack! Spanner, was this before or after the ratification of the Orient Terra Cabor Treaty? The truce had been on for almost a year, Tenna, but it seemed as if the treaty was never going to get signed. Both sides were deadlocked over the dumbest problems. Nerves were stretched mighty thin. Clang. Laertek ordered the Jeter not to strike, but Dad didn't understand Caborian and kept slipping closer to the check on the ground. Someone shouted, Baka! They say, if there's a price on your head, pray it isn't high enough to interest Baka. Awful big fuss over a check. It belonged to a friend. We would have paid for a Dygard check. Dygard? Let them have their check. I know a shop down the street with half a dozen of them. They'll even engrave it for you. I can't. It's gone. Someone in the crowd must have taken the thing. Andromeda had brought Marcus Baka, but she didn't stay around to see the drama end. I guess she was figuring on playing another part. Andromeda? Stick around, citizens. I'm certain none of you has a bounty on his hide. Amazing how that lion can disperse a crowd. This isn't over, Citizen Spanner. We know you have the check. You are Nygod, the marked one, and there is nowhere to hide from the Castler. Polly, calm down by the fight. Boy, the fight's all over. Dad, what did they mean? Nowhere to hide. Just talk, son. I'm in no trouble now. Baka, wait. I want to thank you. Keep your thanks, citizen. Just stay out of my galaxy. I think we've both had enough of Festi for a while. Let's just head straight to our boat and set course directly for home. We'll be coming back sometime, though, won't we, Dad? We'll see, son, we'll see. Say, what's that glint? You see it? Polly, by the boat, cockpit, up front. Something metal. Well, I'll be a Bandarian mudder. How do you suppose it got there? This place is too far from heaven to have guardian angels. Just one, Dad, and she didn't want much, just half a honey pie and a 2 months allowance. Say, Dad, can we discuss my allowance when we get home? Thereafter, you went back to the jelly farm with your dad. What exactly is a jelly farm, Spanner? It's located on Spanner's World, and, well, we raise jellies. Jellies look like giant amoebas, and we drain off their protoplasm to ship all over the galaxy. Protoplasm is the basic stuff in most of your furniture and kitchen utensils, sort of like plastic, only stronger. Hi, Dad. Looks as if Mushy is about ready to split. Peer so, son. But I don't like the looks. The nucleus didn't follow through. We got a cancer, don't we, Dad? Yep, well, have to destroy it soon or it will take over the flock. Uncanny the way it eats. It'll bore right through the fences if we don't stop it. Go wheel a tank of strychnine over here, son. Damn, they don't waste time. Rigel Spanner, are you going to drive me to the Star City Center or what? Sorry, Casey, be right there. Your mother's call cannot be denied, Polly. Keep the cancers away from the other jellies, and we'll take care of them when we get back. Bye. Their gerbil gone. You blub have boy. What, me? He struggle, Gubba. No, you struggle, boy. I have strong grub. Oh, no, they got him. Oh, geez, it's you. You two. You guys scared the bejeebers out of me. Hey, little joke. We gotta go, Blubfesta. Lots of fun. Bring you back before Gubba parents come home. How you going to do that? Star City's only a few million miles away, but Festa's a couple of light years from here. That's a good day's travel. We Castle Global right away in no time. Castle, that's the second time I've heard that word. What exactly does castle mean? No time to explain. You come. No. Okay, you miss good time, Blub. Is this when you learned to castle spanner? Not hardly. It takes years of training. But I did learn one thing right there. When you castle, you switch places with someone else. Cabarinis. My sweaty palms slipped on the railing, and over I went, and into the jelly bin. If they had been regular jellies, I would have been safe, but they were cancerous. And cancers are no nooks, mindless eaters. They're all over me. Help! Please, someone help me. Oh. Pool boy from Jelly Pile. I will check jellies. Yikes. The boy lives, but his flesh is barely burned. Poison in his body. Whom tuck? Take him away, quickly. No, boy, do not shy from me. We came to pay for check. See, a bag full of power stones. We are warriors, not thieves. What are we, Laratic? We cannot leave him here. He will be dead in minutes. We have no choice but take him to Wagorn. And away they go. In my delirium, I heard my father's voice speaking to Cabarinis say when my head began to clear at first, I thought I was home, but I wasn't. Ah, you are awake. Good, the worst is over. Where? How did I get here? Lairtech castled you to me. Very wise. Castle? Yes, castle. A basic process, as easy as this. How did you do that? Are you a sorcerer? I have been called such, but castling is science, not magic. The galaxy is webbed with a network of energy matter exists as merely the terminals of the web. And these terminals, I am lecturing you, are still weak. Rest. Ooh, Saturday morning cartoons. About a week later, I was pretty well healed and off medicines. Bed rest was all that was left of my cure. But the noises bursting through the window were too exciting for an almost healthy 12-year-old to ignore. The clatter sounds like sheks. No, Laderick, may I try a swing? They must be practicing. Yes, Spanner, you have earned the right for a swing. Your father is with Wagorn. He is observing you from tower. Do not try too hard, or you may shame yourself before him. Don't worry, Lartic. I know just what to do. I've been watching you teach the others. I'm going to take the dummy's head clean off. Won't Dad be proud? Oof! When did I teach that one? Let the boy stay a while and learn our ways, Rigel. It will be good for a new treaty between our people. It's up to him. When my dad told me, I let out a whoop. Castling between the two living beings may occur only if both beings are castlers and they are in mental agreement to make the transfer. There was never any time limit set to how long I would stay in Cabor. I think my dad had a year in mind, but a year just wasn't long enough for me to learn. Kaborian combat techniques with emphasis on the Shek. The versatility of the weapon seemed limitless. It was everything from a laser shield to a boomerang. And I was taught the theory and practice of castling from level 1, the transposing of new living things, to level 7, the switching of self with other. My proudest moments came when I graduated from a page to squire, then began my holy vigil of preceding, the taking of my vows as a Kaborian knight, and I swear never to shame the Shek by defiling it with innocent blood. Rise, Sir Spanner. My 5 years of schooling had passed in a wink, and the moment had come to take my next step. Darned if I knew what it was, but I wanted to go home before I decided. Whenever you castle, you're certain to contact with using you to escape danger. Remember, to turn Shek into a shield, you must activate the power gem by... Please don't prattle, it's difficult enough to leave you guys, and besides, you act as if I was the first human ever to be knighted. You may have brought the age of chivalry to the earth, but the tradition died amongst your people. You are the beginning of a new tradition. Go with honor. Polly, don't forget us, or what we taught you. Never. An instant later, I was on a Spanner's world. Surprise, oh, looks like you knew I was coming. Wagon told us, so we invited some of your old friends. Say hello to your baby brother, Regulus. Hi, Polly. Remember me? I hired some new hands to help me with the farm, but it's not the same as when you were here, my right-hand man. Yeah, Dad, sure. Someone once said, you can't go home again, and until that moment I never understood what he meant. But as I looked around at the barns and silos and the strangers who were once my friends, I realized this place and people belonged to a small boy who was no longer me. I knew this would be a visit, not a homecoming. We have a gift for you, son. Dad, I want to speak to you and Mom alone. Okay, son, but after you see the gift. The Shek! No wonder Wagon wouldn't let me take my training Shek with me. Thanks, but you know I can't stay, probably even before you knew, early next morning. So I went into the partnership with the Perseus bosun cam, and he became traders. We were pretty successful at what meant being tied to an office. After a couple of years, I let Cam buy me out and went trading on my own. I started out carrying small items like gems, fine tools, optical devices, and such until I met Deswoda, who hired me to carry his line of medicines. Spanner, did you say medicines? The first steady work I tried was aboard a Medusian freighter called Perseus, with the meanest captain I would ever meet, name of Bello. Now freighters felt too slow for me. I had a license, and I was always careful about the medicines I carried. You can check my rec. I just have Spanner, no problem. On a Draga world, I think Falfux, I once saved an entire tribe of Sokusians from dying of a virus. Take more color stones. We owe you much. You've paid me for the medicine and for my time. I don't need anything else. Then take what is more precious. Choose a daughter for your mate. Real kind of you, old chief, but I can't stay for the wedding. There's a plague on Antares. 4. I've just got to attend. So long. Are you married? Look. And that brings us to the chase that was flashing through my head at the start of this interrogation. Hope the natives here are friendly. You have no idea even now why the president placed such a high price on your capture. None. I just suddenly found myself surrounded by pounders. That's the streets, Jason, jargon for bounty hunters. I know. You fellows have mistaken me for someone else, haven't you? Not a chance, Polaris Spanner. You have a 4-star price on your head. Thwack! Here's where I try out the gem trick Laderick taught me. If I can Move the Shek fast enough to activate the power gem. It will turn the Shek into, crack, whang, a shield. I'd sure like to ask you fellas what this is all about, but I hate to stay where I'm not wanted, or in this case, wanted too much. Commander Harris, why did Spanner mistake intergalactic police officers for bounty hunters? They were on special assignment. No, Castling Buster, we're police. Commander Harris wants to question you. We made our first contact with Spanner, sir, and he got away. Perhaps if we had been in uniform, perhaps see what you can find out from what the cashless Spanner left behind. I suppose you want to know what happened from my point of view now. Yes, Commander. Please fill us in. Shortly after the incident, just depicted by Spanner, I received a telecom requesting my presence before the President of the United Confederation of the Free Worlds. If I told you I was worried, I'd be lying. I was petrified. With only a year to go until my retirement, I must have seemed like a lame duck commander, and I knew how important Spanner's capture was to the President. As my ship passed over the immortal Lincoln Memorial, all I could think about was how Marie and the kids were supposed to live on my half a pension if they retired me early. The decision rested in the hands of the man at the hub of the big wheel. It was a fair man. He was a fair man, that I'll grant him that. But he'd had me sitting on a comet's tail before I never did it any very gracefully. Commander Harris, go right into the President. He's expecting you. Mr. President, it's Commander-in-Chief Richard Harris, as you requested. Good morning, sir. May I ask what this is all about, sir? Ah, Dick, you always go right to the point, and taking the lion's route to Vega for you. Very well, I shall follow your example. I am extremely displeased over your execution of the Spanner arrest. I know I asked you to pick up a Cashler without explaining his offense, but you assured me it could be accomplished quickly and quietly. Now Spanner has been alerted. We have lost the advantage. If only you trusted me enough to give you the details, but you can't keep me half blind and expect me to do my job properly. You're right, Dick, so I'm placing another person on the case with you. This man has been acting as my personal investigator for the past 3 years, and I have full confidence in him. You're joking, sir. Neither the President nor I ever joke, Harris. Our eyes dissected each other like laser scalpels. In an instant, we had sucked into each other's souls and exposed the mutual hatred that had been festering for years. I won't have that pounder, Saka, as my assistant. I didn't think you would, which is why I'm putting Bacca in charge. As of this moment, Marcus Bacca is Commander-in-Chief. You may finish out your term as his liaison. Truly sorry about this, Harris. You may end your narration here, Harris. Thank you. May I say something? Certainly, Miss Jones, proceed. Well, I didn't confer with the President or anything, but old Frugi was really stirring up a tempest that night in Vega 2. Pounders all listened to me. This price of a planet is on this man-is's head. We can cut each other's throats and end with nothing but blood on our tentacles. Or we can organize. Listen to the Honorable Andromeda Jones. Scores of murmuring voices quieted when I raised my hands. You know me, I am the Blue Star who brought 22 pounds of flesh to the Iggies. I am the protege of Bacca. I am Pounder. The Iggies spit on the money they gave me. Citizens turn away. Dreggers refuse shelter. But still I say with pride that I am a Pounder. Shall we speak with one voice? Are we Pounder with Pounder against the galaxy? Yeah. Then from this day forward, we are a guild of Pounders. And one first order of business is Spanner. So now you and a guild of bounty hunters, as well as the police after you. Spanner, and still you had no idea why. Right, Tenna? When did you finally realize you were an intergalactic fugitive? Hey, you, there, stop. Got a light? on Big Bear's Dream. How did you discover it? Just a feeling, I guess. Wanted, Polaris. Wanted, 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 wanted. I think that'll do it. All right. Well, that was Spanner's Galaxy, #1 from 1984, The Castling. Hope you enjoyed that book. Don't forget about that QR code. Hit that QR code. It'll take you to all my social media, my eBay, my Instagram, as well as my YouTube page. Also, don't forget this book and others are available on my eBay page, Papa's-Comic-Books. Please hit that like button down below. Please hit that subscribe button. And leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought about it. Okay? And as Papa and the Spanners always say,
that was easy.
Until next time, Papa is out.